In this video, I'm talking to Ben. He was stuck in a scam center in Cambodia, was held down, electrocuted, and he could not escape. Until Interpol stepped in. I did not make this video to scare you, but to help you avoid what happened to Ben, so you can have a safe journey to Cambodia and the rest of Southeast Asia.
Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect, man. So, are you actually homeless at the moment?
Yeah.
Mate, you don't look homeless.
I know. This
You look like a decent guy, like.
This is my problem.
You probably are a decent guy. No, I don't mean to be disrespectful. Like you, yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I've got a friend here I used to work with before the scam compound. He's homeless. He's an absolute mess. And I asked him before. I said, "Do you stay like this because you think people aren't going to help you or not feel sorry for you if you look homeless? If you're an absolute mess?" Because he's terrible. He's really bad. It's a shame that he's gone that way.
So, can I start from the very beginning? When did you arrive? Oh no, first your name. What's your name and where are you from? Ben from?
England.
England?
Yeah, Worcestershire, England.
Mate, so you've been here for 4 or 5 years?
5 years.
And how did you arrive here the first time and with what plan did you arrive?
The year previous, I met a girl, a Filipino girl, and she explained that she was opening a business here and she'd like me to go and join her and work in her office.
In Cambodia?
Yeah.
So you arrived here basically with the idea like, oh, I'm just gonna have like a tropical life outside of the UK basically, or what was the plan anyway in the first place?
I think that was one of the problems. I didn't really have a long-term plan. I was happy enough in the relationship. I worked for a couple of companies and then I worked for an NGO in Siem Reap for a short amount of time. It was an NGO for orphan children.
Yeah, okay.
The guy was nice enough.
Yeah,
but there were certain problems, implications, and we fell out.
This was not the scam center yet?
No, this wasn't the scam center, so sorry. Came back to Phnom Penh, struggled for a short time. A guy I knew at the guest house I was staying at, he just applied for a job in Choi Tom, recruitment consultant. So I decided to go along with him. Obviously speaking to the recruiter, they paid me money. Yeah. $350 beforehand to go there.
Beforehand?
Yeah, the job description was, it was recruitment consultant, $2,000 a month salary, $1,000 bonus on arrival, 6-month contract. They paid for a private taxi. Got there, went in, it was fine, everything was fine. They explained what we were doing was a little bit different to what I was previously told. Yeah. And then they also went through what we were and weren't allowed to do. Like, we weren't allowed to leave the compound.
Did you know that already before you got in that taxi, or?
No.
So you basically thought it was a proper job, legit? Like,
yeah. Okay. Well, it was, they did say you're only allowed out a few times a month, but they didn't say you had to stay there. You were detained indefinitely in there until your contract was finished. But they explained that because it's very rural, the area, and even if you were to go out and leave during your breaks, then you wouldn't be able to do anything anyway.
Okay, so that makes sense really if you get to explain that.
Well, there was what, 1,500 people, 2,000 people there.
You had experience already with recruitment, or?
Yeah, the process was to recruit salesmen to then go out in the outside world and sell the financial product, which was an investment, investment of some sort. And then the salesman would go out and we could run it like a pyramid scheme kind of thing. So they could then get people to sell the investment. So
this is the first week. Can you explain how the first week was going? And did you feel like safe over there? Was it a good time in the very first moment?
Everybody seemed quite happy there, I suppose, because there was mixed offices, so different bosses there, different companies.
How long did you stay there? Like in total, do you know?
About 5 months.
You stayed 5 months in a scam center. Did you make money? Like, I can imagine you made like a couple of $1,000s.
No.
They promised you to deliver 2,000 a month if you.
Yeah. No salary. So I was told commission and salary. I got there the first 2 weeks. Everybody was getting used to what they were doing. I was told to work English people. There wasn't much to it, like no content really with regards to work. I didn't make any money. I didn't get paid. The salary was taken off us.
Of what? Like for rent or something, or?
No, they just told us we weren't going to get salary.
Were they serving food and drinks? Like, was everything covered? Because you arrived with almost no money, I can imagine.
Yeah. I arrived with no money apart from what they sent me beforehand. And when I got there, I got $1,000.
You did, okay.
Yeah. That was the only money that was paid. That was a bonus, not like money that we had to repay. So we were told meals, 5 meals a day, accommodation is included. It's all included, and we get salary on top.
Yeah.
But no, that wasn't it. So the meals, the accommodation, it was all put in like a ledger, and that was supposed to be. So it was just adding up. It was just accumulating. The money that we owed them was everything that the investment. So
it was not free, the 5 meals. So you had to pay for that basically as well.
Yeah. The salary that we were supposed to get was different. So the salary was put to one side.
Yeah.
This was all clocking up, and that would go into a pot, which if we wanted to leave, we had to pay that.
Yeah, okay.
And a little bit on top before we could leave.
Mate, when did you, or how long did it take you for you to realize like this is not the best place to be at the moment, I have to leave?
Maybe a week and a half into it.
Okay.
Yeah. At first it was just like getting to know each other.
Yeah. Did you have friends there, or did you make friends there?
I suppose so, yeah.
Are there bars, cafes, where you can actually enjoy inside the compound?
There's a compound there, everything's included.
Yeah.
A little games room, a gym, basketball court, a spa.
And then you have to pay cash, or is it also everything is getting added to the bill?
Oh no, everything outside of the office you have to pay for cash.
Okay. You had a private room there?
No, we were put into dorms, and then I moved into the hotel, because there's a hotel on site. I moved into the hotel, and I paid some of my bonus money, my sign-up bonus money for that, and then I just stayed there, expected to be paid 2,000 salary. I've worked commission-only jobs before, so that didn't really faze me. So I was going to use the money from the salary to cover the hotel costs if need be. I didn't think about this from their perspective. Apparently I needed permission to move into the hotel. That's when, I mean, when you're a grown man and you're being told you can't live in a hotel with your own money.
Yeah.
It
doesn't make sense. Like you would not expect this would even be a rule.
Yeah.
Oh. What's a compound look like? Like you have a few buildings next to each other and a street and a checkpoint to get in and to get out?
It's a big, it's like a perfect rectangle. At the back you've got one gate which leads onto like a landfill, a woodland to one side, completely covered. The other side is a demolished building and then just open fields. And then the front you've got a road going through with a river, and then you've got the bridge to Vietnam here. There's border control at the end of the bridge.
The work that you done, was that also calling and emailing, or was it just like?
So first we went to recruit salesmen, and that did involve an interview to recruiting people to go and work there in the compound. The Filipino immigration were stopping people if they didn't have the right paperwork.
Yeah.
I interviewed a few people for the job there, but they didn't have the right paperwork, they wouldn't get through the immigration. I interviewed a few girls, really nice girls. They seemed to really want the job though. They seemed to know, like, I don't know, more about it than I did.
Beforehand?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm gonna apply for a job in a scam center. And that's just what, you were not aware of this, but they maybe...
Yeah, it's kind of like they knew what it was and they weren't really bothered.
Did you employ people then?
No. That was one of the only ways that I could get out of there eventually. So they said, you're gonna have to recruit people, and the commission that you get from recruiting people, because there was different levels of commission for a native English speaker, Westerner, that would be like $3,000 to $5,000.
Did you manage to buy your way out?
No.
Did you escape?
No. I was taken out by Interpol.
Okay, let's get there at the end. But first, you told me that you were tortured.
Yeah.
Can you explain how that happened? And what kind of thing did you do to get them torture you?
Me and the English guy, we had an argument. I ended up punching him. At the same time I was trying to get out of there. He posted a comment in the morning work report, which was in a Telegram group, and then the translator spoke to me. He said, the boss wants to see you. He was pissed off. You need to say something, because otherwise you're going to get f***ed up. So I was sat in the office, the translator was next to me, the boss in front of me. He talking to me in Chinese, started shouting at me, and then he got on his phone, sent a voice message, and then 5 security guards just came in the room. One of them was holding 2 pairs of handcuffs and a big chain, and they came over and handcuffed me to the chair, and then one got behind me, knelt down on the floor. I think he was out, I'm not sure, but he covered my mouth, and the other 4 just started to taser me, all with their baton tasers. The guy behind me held on for about 2 seconds. He had to let go. But yeah, it was really painful. They only got like my neck down, around the groin area, and only really where my t-shirt was. One of them, they got me on the neck, and the translator started shouting at them, saying, no, not the neck. From how I perceived it, it was almost like it's something they might do quite regularly, and they're not allowed to get the neck. I think I cracked my wrist. A few weeks after I got out, I fell over, and I think I then broke it, but it's slowly getting better. Okay. But my wrist was cut. One of the other security guards, he went back to the table by the door, picked up a chain, dropped half of the length, started walking towards me, and then when he got right near to me and he was about to hit me.
With the chain?
Yeah. If he would have hit me with that, he probably would have killed me. But his boss came in the room, shouted at them, they all fell in line.
So you were like coming down from the electricity shock, and you saw the guy approaching you with a chain. Were you thinking like, this is the end, this is gonna...
Yeah. 3 of them were outside the office when it happened, and the whole room stank of like burning bodies, burning skin, burning flesh. And the 3 people were, I think they were directly outside the room, so I'm not sure, they must have heard it. Because when they first started tasering me, I couldn't help but scream. It was really painful. Yeah.
You punched someone, so you got tortured because you were not doing your proper work and you were out of line.
They don't like aggressors.
Have you seen other people getting tortured?
There was a video going around of a Vietnamese guy naked, handcuffed to something, getting tasered, getting his balls tasered. That was being passed around.
From the compound you were on?
Yeah, the boss was pissed off. Nobody was making money. Yeah. People were messing around. It was changed from recruitment to romance scam, which was just text messages. And
have you done that?
Yeah.
Did you approach, let's say, ladies, or how does that work? Or you were pretending you were a lady and then texting?
Yeah, it was just, here's a list of numbers, send text messages. 2,000 a day, then 6,000, then 8,000. I didn't want to do it. I asked to leave. I didn't want to do the job.
And this was after a few months?
2-3 weeks in.
Already? You were saying like, I want out?
Yeah, I didn't feel comfortable before I was tortured, because I didn't like the work. It's not what I went there for. But I didn't really say anything. I kept it to myself and thought, all right, it's halfway through the month, get to the end of the month. Then we were told there's no salary. And we were told there was commission only, commission was ridiculous.
With all the other people that were working there, were you not angry and then say like, listen, I want to get paid? Did you say that to like your supervisor?
No, we were given a choice, commission or salary. This was after I was tortured, and I said to the translator, I said salary, and they didn't like that. So the boss came out, grabbed me, took me in the office, and he's come up to me, punched me in the head. The boss did. He cut his finger.
Were you considering at some stage to escape? Have you ever tried that?
Yeah, there's only really one way to escape, and even if you managed to do that, you probably wouldn't get away.
Because it's so far away, you mean? And there's some checkpoints maybe, or?
Yeah, there's nowhere to go really. After I got electrocuted, I contacted various different organisations. But you need to get me out of here. I told them where I was with pictures, and locations on the map. The embassy contacted me, and I spoke to the consul. She said, "We're not the police. You need to contact the police. The best we can do for you right now is send you a list of English-speaking lawyers." I already tried to call the police, by the way, but they didn't speak English. I tried a few different lines I found online which were purposely for situations like that. I tried various different trafficking NGOs. I never got a response. This is how I got out of the compound. My older sister called the police in England.
Okay.
They went to her address and they took a statement. She had to report me missing. She reported me missing. It was passed off as intelligence. Interpol picked it up, and 9 weeks after she made the initial, she gave her report. Interpol came to the compound, took me out.
How did they, like, are these guys with, are they armed or are they, how do they look like?
I don't think so.
What do they look like? Are they guys in suits or?
No, they were just Cambodian representatives for Interpol, just wearing polos with Interpol on the back. They came to the compound gate, spoke to the security or whoever. Security came to my room, shouting, "Pack your stuff," took me to the gate. Interpol were there, the High Commissioner of Kandal Province. I was taken off and we had some food, and then to the police station. And then a few hours later, the police drove me back to Phnom Penh, to the embassy.
And then at the embassy, what happened there?
So the embassy, that girl I mentioned previously, her and her boyfriend were there.
Yeah.
They had to sign some documents for me. They put me on the phone to a guy from the embassy who was supposed to be there, but he couldn't be there. I spoke to him, he said, "Come in tomorrow, everything will be fine." I went back to the embassy, no finances, no accommodation, nothing. So
you had nothing, you were like...
I had a suitcase with clothes, trainers.
Your passport?
No. Clothes.
What happened to your passport?
My passport was with a friend. I didn't want to take my passport with me. I was told something by somebody. I left it with a friend. After 2-3 weeks, the boss kept insisting, "My passport, where's your passport?"
So you asked your mate to send it over, and then somewhere it got lost?
It could have got there and then just been taken, disappeared.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We fast forward a few years, right? Because you've been homeless for a while.
Yeah. On and off. When I get enough money, I try and get a guest house.
I looked into it a little bit, and when I see on the websites, it is possible to get a emergency document to travel from Phnom Penh straight to London.
Yeah.
The embassy is required to get you this document, no?
I tried to get the passport. Application was withdrawn. The embassy wouldn't help. I've still got the email.
So why is the embassy not helping?
I don't know.
So do you want to go back to England? Is that your aim, or you're comfortable here?
Oh no. Yeah, I want to go back to England.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, if I was in your situation, I would ask people for some help, and then save up that money. And then buy a ticket. I don't know. It's maybe £500. A cheap flight.
I think it's less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's.
So that's doable. Within a year, you can do this, no? I think.
Yeah. I suppose so.
But how come? Sorry, I don't want to be rude
it's
at
okay,
all.
it's okay.
But I know people. Some people were wondering, like, Chai, come on, don't be foolish. This guy can just buy a ticket home at some stage.
Yeah.
He just want to stay in Cambodia.
Yeah. I mean, if they could try it for themselves if they want.
I don't know if
It's not that easy. I've got to try and live, feed myself. People don't give me that much money, and yeah, it's not as simple as that.
Do you drink?
No.
Do you use drugs?
No. I'll be honest. I used to in the past. Not drink. I haven't really drank for a few years.
I just cannot imagine. I want to stop talking about this because I'm just hammering on it right now. I've got the feeling, but I just don't understand why you cannot save, let's say, $200 to buy yourself a new passport. I mean, that's possible. Why not?
I suppose it is, but amount of time, how long? I don't know. I could do it. But I don't know how long it would take me.
So what do you see? How do you see yourself in the next year? Then you think you will be back in England?
Hopefully. I'm not really bothered by people maybe thinking that I'm lying or just that doesn't bother me. I kind of understand that because it just sound like a little bit messed up.
Are you okay? Are you mentally like in an okay space after the tasing chapter? That's tough. Like the scam center period was.
Yeah, I think it's.
And now on the streets living like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It is a little bit. I'm not sure what the word is. But my memory is terrible now. I seem to zone out. I've always been quite. I lose focus easy, and it is quite hard to concentrate. And some days I just forget. Just forget I'm even in this situation.
Is there anything that you want to say, maybe warn people about these criminal organizations? Obviously, no one should be in the scam center, but it seems like they're targeting Chinese people, and like you were only one of the few Westerners there, right?
Yeah, I was just in a desperate situation. The offer was good. I decided to take it without thinking, and I ended up in a situation. It was my mistake. If they know what they're getting into, then that's up to them. But yeah, I don't think there's anything you could say as a warning, really. Just research the job more. Yeah. Check company name, websites.
Yeah. I think that's already, if you check the website, and you can already see if it's a legit. Yeah. Because the last thing I want to do is scare people from coming to Cambodia and working in Cambodia. Because Cambodia needs foreign people they don't need necessarily foreign people, but to make financial growth and to stimulate the economy. I think there's also foreign investors and foreign people coming from all sides of the world to work here. So I want people to come here. I don't want to scare people with this video either. Like,
I'd have to make it clear that from what I know, there was Cambodia's no local involvement in any of the management level or any running of the compound.
To wrap it up, if you are desperate for money, don't get involved in dodgy organizations. Trust your gut feeling, do a little bit more research. The Cambodian economy is getting better and better. There's a lot of business opportunities right here. Don't let Ben's story scare you away from Cambodia. Actually, it's not only Cambodia, the scam centers are a global problem. And hopefully at some stage this will be solved. But even if I could just help that one person not making the wrong decisions from watching this video, I think it's already worth it. Thank you so much for watching till the very end. Bye for now and stay champ.